Welcome back to Captain of Industry Update 2. We're playing on a custom map of Paris. We've already made quite a bit of progress, so if you're just tuning in, I suggest you check in the video description below for the full playlist. Today we're gonna make a lot of great progress with nuclear level 2, with a new contract for coal, and also a couple of other things. Starting with this over here, as you can see, we have now conquered the whole map. All of the pirates have been killed, all of the settlements have been, discovered. Actually, I even got them, I think all of them to reputation level 3. So we are definitely the master of the map. This was thanks to an improvement of our ship, right? We improved the ship engine to level 3, the guns in the front and in the back to also level 3. So now our ship has a battle score of 900 with quite a lot of hit points, etc. And therefore we were able to take care of all of the pirates, as I said. Now at the same time, to be honest, that sort of means that our ship is now useless. There's not much else it can do, but still I think it's good to have it ready to go and arm. Since the last episode, in the last episode we upgraded our population, we doubled our population, we also provided all of the food, and as you can see, even with giving plenty of food, so our food consumption has been increased by 50% in total, giving us 2.5 of unity, we are still good, right? Look, all of those things are full. It seems to be working really well. There's no problem, this is full animal feed, etc. So I'm really happy. I still haven't spent any time, to fix it, to make it perfectly clean, but it's working really well. So instead, what I've been focusing on is two things. One is energy and one is more contract. Why more contracts? Well, we want to make this fully 100% sustainable, right? Which means we can't rely on the mines that are either on our island or on the map. So I started with the one that we've already done a lot, and this is the coal, right? The coal, if you remember, the first coal mine over here we have completely emptied, and frankly the second one is very close to it, right? We only have 10% left. So I started with coal with a new contract, which is gonna be cement to coal. Now there is 3 contracts for coal. You could also do household goods, or you could do lab equipment level 3. These two, in my opinion, are a lot more complex. They may be potentially, depending on what you calculate, like is it energy, is it number of people, they may be better, but this one is a lot simpler, right? It's very easy to make cement. They are suggesting over here that you do cement with fuel gas. I didn't do that one, I'm gonna show you. And so for me, this one really was the easiest one. I have also, I think you saw, created or took another contract over here, but I haven't really started it yet. Oh, what is going to... Oh, what happened there? It's like the mountain fell on the building. Okay, you can see it's like an avalanche of copper. Okay, so going back to this new contract over here. This is this one over here. As you can see, pretty compact, really well organized. Pretty easy also to double. If I want, I can just copy this and double it over here. So what is it going to happen? Well, basically, we're going to give cement, right? You can see this is what's happening over here. I'm producing cement, and this is going to give me coal, right? To make the cement, we have 3 choices, right? We have, if we go over here, we have the rotating gas and the normal one. Now, they were suggesting to use this one, which does create a lot of CO2, but making fuel gas, there's not like there's a lot of ways to make fuel gas. I mean, of course you can make fuel gas in your oil factory, but that's gonna make it quite complex. You could use hydrogen, but there is a recipe that is just the hydrogen one, so then it doesn't make any sense to do this. And then to make fuel gas out of food, that's gonna take a lot of space, so I didn't want to do this. Similarly, you could do the hydrogen one. It's also a pretty good one in terms of, 6 to 6, and you have carbon dioxide, which we can transform now into something. But the problem with that one, in my opinion, is it costs a lot of energy to make hydrogen, right? Because basically, if we want to make hydrogen out of nowhere, we're gonna use an electrolyzer out of water. We're talking about 3.6 megawatts, for just 12 of hydrogen, that means we're gonna need quite a lot over here. And sorry, I just realized they're not building those things. I want them to build. So instead, you know, I went with the earlier, and some people will say less strong one, because it only makes 3 per production instead of 6. So yes, I had to build more of these, but the reality is it doesn't cost that much more, because you know, this was 10 people, this is 6, so 2 of them is gonna be 12. And the key thing is, you know, it's still a pretty good efficiency. I mean, it's still 9 to 3 versus here it was 18 to 6, so it's the same. And instead of 6 hydrogen or fuel gas, it's only 1.5 coal. And the reason also I went with coal is because, again, this is a bit similar to the one we looked at it over here, right? Which was stuff goal to goal with the diesel production. It makes it very easy to do without a lot of things coming in, right? Because this is the coal that we're getting from the cement. So we're getting a lot of coal, and then we can make more cement out of it. Now I do see there seems to be a problem somewhere. Why is the coal somehow not flowing? Wait, let me see. There's this, oh, there is one. There was one belt that hadn't been constructed, but here it is, now it is. So it's gonna start, you know, the coal is gonna come. I may want to just send a bit of coal here to make sure it gets started, but that should be pretty easy. There is some coal here. Okay. So then, you know, again, we're going to take the coal that comes already from, you know, this contract, and we're gonna take limestone. This is the only other thing that's needed. It's gonna make cement and exhaust. So cement is easy, it goes on this belt, right? It goes all around to take all 20, by the way, yeah, well, this is 20 of these buildings. So it takes all of this and goes here, and we have a balancer which says priority is, you know, you send cement over here, right? So that the contract can come again and give us more coal to make more of all of this, right? And then if you have more, if this is full, then it can go into storage so we can do something with it in the future. And then we have exhaust, right? The exhaust is this one at level 1, goes all the way over here into one exhaust scrubber, because this is 180. We're talking about 9 times 20, that is 180, so that's perfect. With a bit of water, it's gonna make sulfur, carbon dioxide, and steam low, and a bit of air pollution. So how are we going to manage this? Well, basically, first over here, you can see the carbon dioxide, instead of sending into the atmosphere and polluting now, we have just unlocked this new recipe in the chemical plant, which is to transform it into graphite. That's something new that we're gonna be able to use now. Just barely making some, but that's a good start. Then secondly, and if this is full, I do have a pi balancer to send it into the atmosphere. And then secondly, we have the sulfur. The sulfur similarly will go into the storage, and if it's full, it can be burnt. And then lastly, we have over here the steam low. So this steam low, we're going to send actually into a thermal desalinator, because that enables us to make water, and quite a lot of water, right? Because we're talking about only 24 steam low, it's gonna make 72 water. Right, so this is actually going to be, this is actually going to be water positive. We're taking 24 water and we're gonna make 72 of water and a bit of brine. Now the brine, to be honest, right now I'm just sending directly into the water. This is not polluting, so it's fine. Here we have the seawater pump, right, with this pipe going in, and then on the other side the water is obviously the key thing over here, where I'm saying, you know, send the water in priority over here, and then if this is full we can have some reserve there. This was also important for me to sort of kickstart this whole thing, right? So that's why we put it. Now I'm gonna put it on, so if there is need for water anywhere, they can use it. So basically, if we want to make 251, or to be more precise, 252 of concrete, this is going to cost us, of course, some coal, but not a lot. It's only actually costing us 126 of coal. So then we're gonna have a sort of coal positive of almost 900, right? So 900 coal is the positive on this. It does cost, though, almost 800 of limestone, right? Because we need a lot of limestone for this whole thing. So this is why I'm going to jump. So this is why next we're gonna do another contract over here to actually get us a lot of limestone, right? And we may actually need even more than 1000. I may need a 6 or 8 space. Given that we're now making a lot of cement over here, we can also stop the cement that was made over there on the hydrogen, right? So I've deleted the entry point. We can also now delete this one. And that means we'll be able to have more hydrogen to burn over here, which will therefore use less coal, right, for steam, etc. So this is all in all a good thing. More importantly, this is a pretty low amount of people and of electricity. So again, I'm really happy with it, but do tell me in the comments below if you have any problem, if you have any questions with it. Then next, I've made big changes to my nuclear facility. The overall power is not that much higher, it's 210 right now, but the reality is there has been a lot of changes. First of all, you may have realized that instead of having a lot of these radioactive waste storage for spent fuel, I think I used to have like 4 or 5, now the reality is I only have 1 and it's empty. So I don't have any spent fuel anymore because we are not treating this spent fuel to make a lot of other things. This is thanks to the upgrade from nuclear reactor level 1 to level 2. That has unlocked quite a few new recipes, and actually that also unlocked more power for the same amount of same buildings. This is why we have those 2 new lines over here. Now, first of all, just to be clear, you can build directly a nuclear reactor level 2, or if you have a level 1, you can also upgrade it at the bottom over here. You have to stop it though, it cannot be working when you upgrade it, so do keep that in mind. Now both of these have been upgraded, they are definitely a bit different and a bit bigger than the one before, and there's gonna be a couple of changes. The first one is that there is 2 recipes instead of 1. We used to have only this one with uranium rod, now we have the MOX rod too. And as you can see, it's also creating something different. Instead of spent fuel, it's creating spent MOX. Then the second thing is, before it used to be blocked at 3x, now it can go up to 4x, which means that this is why, you can add 1 more line for each of them. And then lastly, you can enable automatic regulation. This will cost though teraflops, so I'm not going to do it right away. But with this will basically enable you to go up and down in terms of how much you're consuming and therefore how much steam you're making based on the energy consumption that you need. So this is not like going up and down every 5 seconds, because obviously there is still the time that it takes to make this, which is 40 seconds, but every 40 seconds you could adapt a bit your power in a sense, so you could consume less. But the key thing for me is more that it is enabling us, this MOX rod, right? Which is basically now we took all of this spent fuel. So, the spent fuel is coming out of this building and is going into this new nuclear reprocessing plant. It's gonna require acid and also molten glass. So the acid was easy, we were already making acid over here. Molten glass was a bit harder. I put a blast furnace basically, and then I had to put a bit of coal, a bit of broken glass or the glass mix, and you also need a slag output. But this is what's happening over here, right? And this is going to create 3 things actually: reprocessed uranium, plutonium, and fission product. So that's what's happening here. First we have these belts for the fission product. So these ones are radioactive, so they do need to go into radioactive waste storage. But the key thing is that after a couple of years, I don't remember how much it was, but like after a number of years, those things become actually retired waste. So they can come out and then you can put them into a shredder to make recyclables. So that's pretty cool, that really enables those things to disappear in a sense. And then you have also the plutonium and the reprocessed uranium. So reprocessed uranium is over here. I'm going to show you where it goes. And then over next to it, we have a chemical plant where we're taking this plutonium and we're adding depleted uranium, which is why I said a couple of episodes ago, you want to make sure that you keep your depleted uranium like I did over here. Oh, this is getting full. We have to be careful. Maybe let's unlock this next one. So you want to keep this depleted uranium so that you can make now those MOX, right? And so then I send those MOX back over here, it goes there, then it goes up over here into this balancer, because basically what I wanted to say is, you know, anytime I make a MOX, let's make sure that we use the MOX first, because that's going to create, you know, spent MOX, right? So that's a bit better, and that enable me, you know, to use all of the spent fuel. But then if there is none, then it's fine. We can use the normal MOX that, you know, uranium rods that we've been making. And then lastly, there is this reprocessed uranium, which then, you know, truck takes and brings all the way over here. This is going to be making basically the same normal things, right? The same normal enriched uranium with a slightly different recipe. Right? Instead of the yellow cake, we're going to take this reprocessed uranium, then same hydrogen fluoride, which is why I put it over here, right? We already had the hydrogen fluoride, and then it's going to make enriched uranium, so the same thing, which again is why I put it over there. There is again a balancer, a flat balancer, to make sure that, you know, we take these ones before making new ones in a sense. And then lastly, it's actually recreating a bit of depleted uranium. It's creating less, so instead of 3.75, it's creating 2.25, but it's still creating more, which is why this basically is keep getting bigger for now. We're gonna get even more, you know, recipes when we unlock the fast breeder over here, because we need a lot of depleted uranium. So yeah, with this, we're basically using less of the uranium, right, to make even more energy. So that's pretty great. That's pretty great. We are creating, one thing to note is we are creating spent MOX instead of the spent fuel, which we can't really do anything with right now, but in the future we will be able to do so. So yeah, this is not like fully solving my energy problem. I think soon we should also move to 4x on this side. So let's go to 4x. Let's build also that one and this. And did I build? No, I didn't build also the pipe, sorry. So the pipe needs to come from there. I'm making a bit quick and dirty so we can do it together quickly, and also because I don't think that, you know, this is definitely not a late game nuclear facility, right? We're gonna recreate another facility in the future. Okay, and with this we've moved to 240 megawatts. That is what you can get out of 2 level 2 nuclear reactors. So that's pretty good. I'm not saying that's gonna be enough for a long time. I do think what will be pretty good is soon if we can have enough teraflops to unlock you know, the automatic regulation. That will be pretty good. As always, don't hesitate to tell me if you have any questions about nuclear level 2, but hopefully this description was pretty clear and useful. Now you may have realized that there was barely any sand left on the map, right? The sand that was on this side we took a long time ago, and the sand that was on this mountain, there is barely anything left over here. So I had to find a new way to make sand. Good thing is there is a way, is you just need quartz. And that was exactly the big mountain over here that we hadn't started to touch that much, right? I can, if I want, drop also the quartz into the sea, of course, but for now, this was the perfect way, you know, I needed some sand and I had some quartz. So you take the quartz, you put it into a crusher to make quartz crushed, and then you need another crusher to transform the quartz crushed into sand. So for now I put 2, so we're basically making, you know, like 100 of sand per minute. We could make a bit more, but I think we'll probably get into, you know, a contract before we do this. So yeah, we have at least some reserves of sand before we have some trouble over here. I also realized that again, this is not flat at all. Instead of just digging, we also need to drop. A couple of years later, and you can see that this is working really well. I did make a small change to it, I'm gonna explain in a second. But yeah, you can see that we have a lot of coal, we have, you know, a lot of reserves of cement over here, we have some cement there. Now the small change that I made is over here, where I'm making sure that if this for some reason is not working, like I don't know, I'm not getting any coal in or whatever, I'm going to still send whatever reserves of cement I still have over here back into the flow, so you can go back here. So it's just a small thing just in case. But yeah, this is working well, this is full. And so, as I said before, we're gonna need a lot of limestone to make this happen, right? So to make this happen, we have now another contract over here. Now this is a contract contrary to this one over here or that one over here. I'm not going to make all of the resources on site. This is a contract where we want to send some construction part level 2 in exchange for this limestone. Now, why this one? Well, the reality is there is only that one for limestone. There's no other contract for limestone, so you don't really have a choice. But, you know, I'm not going to make those construction parts on site. Why? Because this requires a lot of different resources. It's better, you know, to make those resources on my bus and then from the bus to send it there. We can even have in the future, you know, an actual belt that go from the bus to here. But for now, we're leaving it like this. I was actually quite low on construction parts, but you can see that now they've been doing a lot of delivery and we have a lot of limestone. So I don't think we're gonna have to, you know, send a lot more of these construction parts. And so my number of construction parts should start going back up. Okay, so now we're basically sort of unlimited on gold, sort of unlimited on coal. We are also making some cement on top of this. Thanks to the limestone, we will need to make a lot of construction parts for sure. And we're also getting some bonus diesel. Our food production is working really well. You know, there's no problem at all over here. You can see this is all full. And I'm still, you know, doing the full plenty of food, 2.5 of Unity. So we are making actually a lot of Unity right now. That's great. We do still need to fix this part over here for the water and the medical equipment. I've actually gotten a couple of pretty strong deadly flus recently that killed a lot of my people. So I think in the next episode, we're gonna make medical equipment level 3 and we're gonna make enough of it, which probably means that, you know, it's not just 30. I think we need probably at least 60. I saw at some point it needed 60. So we're gonna need to make that happen. And then of course, there's still many other resources that we need to automate in a perfect way. The copper ore, for example, the iron ore for sure. We're gonna want also to do the uranium at some point, right? And the final fast breeder reactor, I'm researching it right now. We're gonna want some wood in an automating way, quartz for sure. What else? That's a good start. There's probably one that I'm forgetting, but we're gonna need that for sure. I have started to work on a new bus over here. I'm not saying it's going to be there, but I'm just starting to work on it slowly but surely. And we will also probably need to rework our diesel, right? We are making a bit of diesel over here, but that probably won't be enough for full, you know, city. So yeah, that's another thing. I'm also starting to make some roads and bridges using, you know, the custom surfaces, the paint, the trees too, and also those barriers. I think they look nice, you know, on sort of the roads, but there is still a lot of work that needs to happen over there. Do smash like button, it does help tremendously. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time.